Hey everybody, welcome to week 2. All right, so we got through that first week and now we're into the first full week of this class of INFT 124. And it's a good one. It's a really good one. We have a very interesting discussion topic. And you're going to be talking a lot about the various parts of a computer. So we're going to talk about the differences between hardware and software. Now, more on that in a minute. The discussion board is about social media. And this is a topic that we're going to cover a decent amount this term. We're going to talk about it from a couple of different angles. If the discussion for a given week doesn't directly address this topic of social media, there may be some additional threads that I will include that will touch upon this subject. In part because, well, I like talking about it. I think it's very interesting. It's an area that I really like to study. Not just kind of I'm curious about it, but I actually do try to study this. And kind of the phenomenon of social media. But it's also one that touches our lives every day. And so I think it's something we need to better understand, kind of the impact that social media platforms have in our lives. So this week's discussion is on the topic of Slacktivism. Now, I'm going to say more in a video in the discussion board for this week. But just to kind of give you a bit of a taste, this is the subject of kind of marrying activism and being slackers. It's what's called a portmanteau, where we take those two words and we create a new one. Essentially, it's this. Are we kind of lazy in our activism online? Do we see an issue that we want to address or we think is very important? And really what we do about it is we don't, get people to protest, or we don't get people to march, or we don't give money. We just change our Facebook profile, right? Or we say something kind of nice and pithy on Twitter and leave it at that. So that's what Slacktivism is about. That's what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be a very specific topic. It has to do with something that happened a few years ago in the country of Nigeria. And there's a terrorist group that kidnapped a bunch of girls, and it's really kind of discussing the aftermath of that. But more broadly than that, we're trying to address this topic of technology and what impact it has on our lives. Essentially, does our technology make us lazier? And I don't mean just lazy like I can, type up on my phone McDonald's and have it sent to my house, and Amazon will drop things by drone or whatever. But does it make us lazier thinkers as well? In terms of critical thinking, which is central to your work here at Bryant Stratton College, are we kind of maybe not really thinking about that very much because we're kind of lazy online? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this week's discussion board. It's a very interesting one, and honestly, it's one of my favorite ones of the entire term. Actually, one of my favorite ones of all the classes I teach. So it's a really good one. You can see that I'm excited about it already. You're also going to be talking about hardware versus software. Now, the lecture notes will tell you more about hardware versus software. So all I'm going to say is this, very basically. Hardware is the stuff that you can touch, the tangible stuff. My smartphone is hardware. This mouse is hardware. The screen and the camera itself are bits of hardware. This is tangible stuff that's part of your computer. For instance, on my smartphone, it's got a camera, it's got this protective cover, it's got the shell. All of them are different kinds of hardware. Now, software, these are programs that run on hardware, or programs that run hardware in many ways. So that's the kind of the basic clear difference between hardware and software. The lecture will tell you a little bit more, and you're going to do kind of a brief quiz on the differences between hardware and software. With these quizzes, make sure you are answering all the questions. Sometimes students will kind of look at something and say, oh, I don't know what that is, and they'll just skip it. No, don't do that. Never do that. Even if you don't know the answer, give me your best guess, okay? If I don't see anything there, I have to give you a 0 on that. So go through that and take your time. And also there's going to be a reflection, and it's on OneDrive. Now, we've been talking a little bit about OneDrive, or you've been learning a little bit about OneDrive, and we'll have more to say about OneDrive in the coming weeks. It is one of these offerings from Microsoft that really is revolutionary. It really makes computing so much easier. Now, Microsoft's OneDrive isn't the only kind of what we call cloud storage or cloud computing. There are many other versions. Google has their own Google Drive, and there are many others as well. But you're going to do a reflection that talks, or kind of prompts you to talk a little bit about what OneDrive is and what its impact is as well. So we're going to have a discussion board, a really interesting one. You're going to be doing a hardware assessment, which shouldn't be too tough. Take a little bit of time, not too much. And then we're going to do a reflection as well. I don't want to say too much right now. But get into the stuff as quickly as you can. Try to get into discussion as early in the week as you can so that you give yourself enough time to reply to your classmates through the rest of the week. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you all provide this week. Thanks, folks.